Business Connections Live, the UK's leading online business channel. This is Business Connections Live with Steve Hyland.
Hello there, welcome along. This is Business Connections Live, the program for entrepreneurs, SMEs and also business owners. Now, on today's show, we're going to be talking about goal setting. We've all done it in our lives. We've been on many courses, I would imagine, where you pop along, you go on a course for 2 days and they tell you, you need to be setting your goals in life. If you don't set your goals in life, you're going to get nowhere. You need to be setting your goals in business. If you don't have goals, then you won't know where you're going. It's a bit like setting out a roadmap. But can it really help a business? Can it help you grow your business if you do put together proper, concise goals for your life and for your business? And if you are putting goals together, what kind of form should the goals take? What's the important things to be considering? Joining me in the studio today is Ben Chai. He is a business owner, entrepreneur, and all sorts of different things, in fact. You are a very, very sort of entrepreneurial gentleman, aren't you, Ben? It's lovely to have you on the show.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you for that accolade. For
those people that don't know who Ben Chai is and why we should be listening to you, just give us a brief background. What are you all about, then?
I actually am all about achieving goals. As a young man, I didn't have a particularly fantastic youth, and I don't want to give a sob story or anything, because that sob story powers me today, and has allowed me to become a very financially free author.
You do find this, though, that a lot of people who make that quantum leap, you know, come from either a situation that's been very difficult, or there's been an epiphany in their life. A lot of the motivational speakers you see, you know, you'll find when you're talking to them that there's been a moment in their life when it has been actually quite catastrophic, and then what they've been able to do is that from that they've been able, like a phoenix, to rise again.
Yes, I love that.
Is that what happened to you?
Every single time. In every single industry, I've started as an underdog. I've been told how stupid I am, how like, I don't know, crazy I am to try things, and have always eventually come out on top. But that's all due to setting goals and having a direction, a roadmap for that business.
Where are you an expert? Where are you perceived as an expert? With which industry? Or is it a case that you bring business ideas to a multitude of industries?
A multitude of industries. So I've had a security business, I've had a technology business, an educational business, a training business, a property business. A property.
Puppy.
I'd love to have a puppy business, but no, property.
Oh, property business.
Real estate, as our American friends would say. Yes.
Yes.
Real estate. And again, through goal setting, have been able to achieve phenomenal results in very little time.
You go out and you do a lot of talking, and you talk to people and you explain to them what goal setting should be all about. When you are talking to individuals that are out there, what do you think the biggest mistakes are that people do when it comes to goal setting? If they watch no more of this program and they were to walk away with one piece of advice, what would be that, you know, don't do it this way? What would that be?
It's difficult for me to say, because it's different for different people. Most people know about goal setting today. It's been around for quite a while. And the biggest thing I say to people is, first of all, you need your bucket list, yes?
Yes.
You need your bucket list of goals. So one of the problems that people have is they write down their goals, and that's really important. I like people to write down their goals, and they write it down, right? And so here's some of mine. You can see that.
Hang on, let me just give me that over.
Right.
We won't be able to read them too clearly.
Oh, well, that's okay. I don't want you to read all of them.
All right, but there's quite a few there. I mean, a lot of people would say that that's probably just ever so slightly too many. In fact, you're not focusing on a particular. So is that all your dreams,
That's
all
not
your
enough.
aspirations.
That's not enough. The thing is, once you hit your goal, and it's okay, it got eaten by Scandinavian Airlines. It got eaten, so I've had to rewrite them on other. I've computerized it as well and printed it out. But the first thing is write it down, and we know that from Harvard Business Studies, the statistics say that people who've written down their goals, if they never do anything else, and they put it in a drawer, that a higher percentage, I think they clocked it at about 50%. I don't know whether these statistics are true or not, but they hit those goals. So if they want a business, or they want to be an author, or they want to have a hair styling, a hairdressing salon, whatever it is, they've written down their goals, they've said how they want it to be, they're very likely to hit it. But having said that, out of the successful ones, we still have a huge amount of failures. And in this country, we know that, 80% of businesses, everyone knows the statistics of startups and businesses go down within the first 2 years. Most of them say it's because of lack of finance, but actually it's lack of having proper goals.
So when you say proper goals,
Yes.
I mean, that's an all-sweeping statement
Sure.
there. So what do you mean by the lack of having proper goals? What does that really mean?
Right, so once you've written down your bucket, once you've written, you need 100, 200, I'm always stretching people to write as many things that they want to do in life. And those things, I see some of the guys and they say, oh, I travel. And I'm looking at them. And I don't see any excitement in them. I'm thinking, you're just saying travel because everyone says travel, yes? So first of all, write it all down. Yes, write every single thing you want to do down. Then the second thing is you need to break it down now, all that list. So we have break it down into relationship goals.
All right, give me this because we can show you these. And so here we are. Break it down into different lines. Relationship goals.
Yeah.
And what's this one here?
Educational goals for self-development.
All right, we've got educational goals.
Your material goals, which actually drives you. They're your why. I want to, I don't know, Ferrari. I don't want a Ferrari, but some people do. Yeah, those goals. You've got your.
Well, there's more
yes,
goals.
You've got your philosophical goals. This is somebody else who I've been. Your health goals, your financial goals. So break it down into a whole bunch of different goals.
So what do you do with that? I mean, you frame them there. Is it a case of what you do is that you put them up? Do they need to be in your mind's eye all the time? Is it a case of the writing down are you going through a process?
I'm going through a process. I'm breaking it down into different sections, right? Now, out of the different sections, so I've written 100 goals down and I've broken them down into 6 different concepts. Now, don't put something there if you're not interested. So if you're not interested in having good health, don't put it down, because you're not going to be motivated. If you're not interested in philosophical goals, don't put it down. Yes? Mm-hmm. So you break it down into these sections. Now, one of the biggest problems, as you said, is people aren't focused enough. So you give me your material goals, right? Here's material goals, Mustang or 3-bedroom house or whatever it is, or somebody wants to earn a certain amount.
Or educational goals.
Or educational goals.
Yeah, a superior level in French is the actual goal that we've got here at
Correct.
the moment. Okay.
That isn't actually a proper goal. So this list is of someone I'm coaching. I said you need to visualize it, but I'll come on to that later on. So you need to, and then out of all that bucket list, give me one in each section.
Okay.
Which you really, really like. It makes your little heart get really excited, and I'll know by looking in your eyes.
Let me ask you then the question. You are still goal driven.
Yes.
What is the one goal for you right now?
Right now, I want to be a well-known actor, an A-lister, either in both film and television. Right now, in the history of the Western world, an Oriental guy like me, yes, born in London, actually Hackney, has never actually been an A-lister. People quote to me Jackie Chan and Jet Li, but these were all famous in Hong Kong and China before they got into. So that is my next mountain, if you like.
So the question's got to be: is that achievable?
Yes.
And is that part of the consideration when you're putting your goal list together? Do you have to consider whether what you are putting down as a goal is potentially an achievable goal, or is everything to a certain extent achievable?
So first of all, everything is achievable except becoming the Pope. Right, so there's certain things that you can't, because I'm sorry, but you can be a pope and you can make a lot of money if you're a pope lookalike, for example. Yes, so that's what I would teach people about. I don't. There's an acronym that they teach in business called SMART. Yes, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely. Right, this is rubbish. Right?
All right, okay.
This is rubbish. It doesn't teach you to dream. It doesn't teach you to stretch your muscles. If everything is achievable, you can't be a Steve Jobs, you can't be a Zuckerberg, you can't be a Gates, because you can't be an Elon Musk, because they're dreaming things that are today impossible.
Is that a restriction that we have in general anyway, as human beings? They often say that when you look at the front page of a sci-fi comic, and you see what the illustrator has drawn to illustrate the story inside, he can only draw on his experiences. So all the rockets will look the same because that's the experiences that he's had. Is it the same as well when it comes to goal setting?
I love that, because people can only see what they understand. So you're absolutely right. Unless they've got, and mixed with, which is part of the goal setting, I've got things that enable you to hit your goals and disable them. So, and disablers, demotivators. So there's two things that affect you. Having a coach, having someone who's walked where you want to go in your life, in your network, yes, they will help you think beyond the confines of your thinking, and they will show you, they'll give you a blueprint on how they did it. Right,
remember, keep on that thought, yes, because we're going to come back. If you are thinking at the moment that you need to be considering where you are in your life, if you're thinking that you need to be considering what goals you need to be setting, how you're going to be taking it forward and being a success, we're going to tell you how to do that. It's all to come on this edition of Business Connections Live. It's great to have your company with us. We're live on a Monday as always. My guest with me today is Ben Chai, business owner, all-round entrepreneur, good guy, has been in a number of different industries. I think that's what's so exciting about what we're talking about today, is the fact that your expertise, your experience is across industry. And I think that's what makes it so different for so many people. And the other thing too is how many times have you been to a presentation or to a meeting and you see somebody standing up there and they spout all this good stuff, but they've never ever done the walk. They can do the talk, but they've never been able to do the walk. What I feel today, having met Ben several times, is that what we've got here is someone who not only does the talk, but has done the walk and has the figures, the money in the account to actually prove the point that if you get this right, it can make a difference. What we're not peddling here is how to get rich quickly, because it isn't just about the monetary solutions that you may get out of this, but also about your person, where you are in life as well, I would imagine. So has that made it very different for you too?
I actually love what you've just said. It's not a money quick rich scheme. You have to learn your craft.
It's a state of mind, isn't it?
Well, you have to learn your craft. And my son and I, we run a website, which is a free website for materials called 5 Years to Financial Freedom. And I consider 5 years to be a good time for any business. And we know the stats. If you've got your business through 5 years, you're here to stay.
Listen, I need you to hold that thought, because we're going to talk about the website as well a little bit later on. Before we get on to that, let's talk about what happened on last week's edition of the programme. Christian Bajaram, he was on the programme. He's a partner with a well-known leading company in London, EBL Rosenfalk. And we were talking about what's going to be happening on the triggering of Article 50. We've had a lot of response to this particular programme. A lot of people really worried about what Brexit means to UK industry. Should we be worried about Brexit, or should we be, are we still talking it down? You watch the TV and the press at the moment, and there is this kind of feeling that there is a lot of talking down the economy, there's a lot of talking down of the business. Maybe we should be setting a global UK goal that we should all be aiming for, that will bring us a Brexit that we all need and that we all want, because let's face it, there's very little we can do about it now. It's going to happen. It was a great show. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, I do suggest you do watch the programme. Go to our website at businessconnectionslive.com. Just to give you a bit of a taster, here's what Christian said on last week's edition of Business Connections Live. Now on today's show we're going to be talking about what the triggering of Article 50 means for business. We read about it on a daily basis in our newspapers, but what does it truly mean for all of us? Is there a lot of puff out there? And there's a lot of rubbish being spoken about what the meaning of Article 50 will mean to you, an SME owner or a solopreneur. What does Article 50 really mean, and what are going to be the implications in the future? Joining me in the studio today is Christian Barham. Christian is a partner with EBL Miller Rosenfeld.
There's a lot of hoo-ha out there, a lot of talk about what's going to happen. People are panicking, I think, a little bit, thinking about what legal implications this is going to have for their business, of course. So I think there's no question about that there's going to be a Brexit. I know, well, you read the papers and you see that obviously certain politicians and flanks try to bring it in that we need an act of parliament in order to trigger Article 50 and then maybe change the decision, really. This could be the first step of the unravelling, at least of the political part of it, if we don't talk about the free movement of goods, services, capital and workers. So if we talk about the political experience, yes, it could. I don't think, however, because the PM have strongly said that Brexit means Brexit and they will leave. So I don't think that we're going to be able to vote again or they're going to change that one way or another. I think it is a Brexit, so the question is what kind of deal are we going to have? I think that generally speaking there's three models. You have the Swiss model, the Switzerland. They have a free trade agreement. Included in there as well is Iceland, Liechtenstein, and Norway, and then Switzerland. The other model would be, a lot of people call it the Norwegian model. So that would be, that would still be a part of the European Economic Area, the EEA. We have access to the four freedoms: goods, services, capital and workers. So free movement of goods, services, capital and workers. Third model would be the World Trade Organization, essentially that we don't have any agreement with EU like the Swiss model or Norwegian model. It would also probably be called the default model. I mean, it would be the default model because once we triggered Article 50 and the PM said it's going to happen by March 2017, EU and UK then have 2 years in order to agree how we're going to leave or the deal going forward. Let's say we trigger in March 2017 Article 50, we don't come to an agreement, so by March 2019 we have left. What happens with the laws in here, as you say then? Well, we have acts in the UK which are taken from European law, European directives, and we've implemented them here. They are going to stay the same way they are. The law is going to stay the way the law is today until the UK then changes those acts. But what could affect your business? If we look at contracts then that you have, you might want to look at force majeure clauses. Would it say that the agreement is terminated if there is a Brexit? Same thing if you want to renew the contract, you might want to be a bit careful on how long you renew it for. That's contracts, that's one part of it. You also have then tax. So today you have something called the parent subsidiary directive. So if you have a subsidiary anywhere else in Europe, you pay dividend up to the UK company, there is essentially no withholding tax, no tax on the dividend. That might change. Data protection is another issue. Today you can essentially transfer data freely through the EU. If we are no longer part of the EU, presumably you need to have some agreement to put things in place on how you transfer the data to the rest of the EU. So this is Christian Björndrum from EBL Miller Rosenfeld. I'm a partner of the firm of solicitors. I would say keep calm and carry on. I think there's a lot of political discussions at the moment on what will happen in the future. The truth is nobody really knows. There's going to be some time until something actually happens. The Article 50 is going to be triggered by March, the PM has said. After that, we'll probably have a period of 2 years to negotiate a deal. If we don't agree a deal, we'll leave automatically. I think what business should do in the meantime is they should do a bit of due diligence, look into their own business. You have contracts, trademarks, employees, you have tax issues, various issues that you need to look into that could be applicable or could be an opportunity or a threat in the future. And I think it's important to assess what they are today so you're prepared.
Christian Bajaram there from EBL Rosenfeld. A fantastic show. If you are one of these people that's really worried about what's going to be happening when it comes to Article 50, I think by watching that program, at least it'll put it in context for you within your business. And if you do have a business at the moment, what should you be doing with Article 50? You should be maybe doing due diligence to see what may be affected, because as Christian said, at the moment we don't know. Nobody knows. Everybody's reacting to the uncertainty. But trust me, once we start to get the measure of what is just around the corner, businesses in this country will soar because of people like you. You are the people that will make the difference. You are the person that will make the difference when it comes to business in the United Kingdom. Your business, the way you grow your business, the way you manage your business. So at the moment, the uncertainty is there, and the city. And let's face it, there's a lot of politics going on, and there are a lot of people actually making money on the back of this uncertainty. But once that dissipates, we could be in a far more secure and better position. Who knows? I mean, it can't get any worse, can it, than it is at the moment. Do watch the entire programme. Go to the website at businessconnectionslive.com. And don't forget, if you'd like to talk to us about the programme, or maybe you'd like to have a programme just like that one for your own business, you can get in touch with us here at Business Connections Live. Simply go to studio@businessconnectionslive.com. Or if you want, you can give us a call on the old dog and bone on 01784 256 777. Follow our stream of consciousness on our Twitter account at BCL Business TV. All went there for a moment. And also, where we're getting a terrific amount of engagement is on our Facebook Live programs that we put out during the live program, of course. Go to Facebook. Fantastic response there. If you're not using Facebook Live for your business, then you really should be thinking about it. I think the lesson to be learned with Facebook Live is try to put a call to action in there, because I think a lot of us we all do it. We pump information out into the ether, hoping that somebody will get hold of a little bit of it and then pull it back in and do something about it. If we don't ask people to do something with the information that we pump out there, they will do nothing. They will absorb it and they will watch it. But until you tell them to actually do something, they won't. And we are very, very, if the right expression is instructable, we need to be told what to do. You're watching Business Connections Live. It's great to have your company as always. Ben Chow is my guest on today's program. We're talking about goal setting. Do you set goals within your business? Do you set goals within your life? If you don't, maybe you should be contemplating it and considering it. I mean, you were talking just briefly, you alluded to the website that you've set up. Tell us more about the website. 5
years to financial freedom. We only have an hour or 40 minutes to chat here. So on 5 years to financialfreedom.com, that's 5FIVE. I've just learned English.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome to my world.
There's a lot of great information that I post, and my son, who helps run the business with me, just posts and helps you break down your goals to achievable goals. So just going back to some things you said, how does someone, like, they only see as far as they can get, how can you make unachievable goals achievable? Right. So one, I think I said you need to network with people who've done it and have gone further with you. And I spend some time with people who say, oh, I want to earn $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 a month in my business, and I'm looking at their business. I said, you need to have a higher goal than that, because it's too small. Right?
It's just the Tony Robinson principle. See someone who's been successful and then emulate them.
I don't know what Tony Robbins is.
Anthony Robbins.
I know who he is.
Yeah.
I actually have been.
But I mean, he's very much. Yeah. He's very much a case of what he says is that it's
model on successful people.
Yeah, model on successful people.
I think that's a super way of doing it. Yes, but not just model it. Have people who've gone a bit further than you in your life, because business is scary. It really is. It's a sport, and it's a scary sport. So have them.
Do you think as business owners that what we tend to do, we tend to restrict ourselves? I remember I was once looking to raise some money in the city, and I was looking for £5 million. And I was going round to the banks and the institutions asking for that. And on reflection, a few years later, it should really have been 10 or 15 million pounds. And in fact, it probably would have been easier to have raised 10, Correct. 15 million pounds than it was to raise 5.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, one of the ladies who was a great friend of mine, Lisa, who's got a great yoga retreat now, she said, she put a business plan together, said, Ben, I'm going to ask for this. I said, you need to double it. And she said she didn't want a double, but she went for 1.5. And the bank gave it to her, no problem. Yes.
And that is the thing to remember, isn't it? That we sometimes restrict our own success ourselves.
Well, you've actually messed up your own goals, because people, when they budget, they're budgeting on a very kind of thin level. So a disaster happens. Remember, this is a sport. Disaster is going to happen. So why not go for a little bit more and have a bit for just in case something happens. Yes.
All right, well, let's get back to the crux of the matter here.
Sorry, so the other thing is, can you just focus on that, one of those goals there? So I think it says something about French, the superior...
Oh, yes, over here, yes. So reach superior levels with French.
So this, to me, is not a goal. I'm coaching someone on this. Superior, I have no clue what superior means. I need to know what time frame you want to do it in, and I need to know what superior level is. Is that conversation level? Do you want to be able to order things at a restaurant? So when I'm coaching people, so for example, they might want £1 million in a year. Everyone throws this at me, right? I say, okay, £1 million, let's break it down. How much is that per month? So 1 million divided by 12. Let's call it 1.2 million. So that's 120,000, is it? No, it isn't. Something divided by 12.
But right, I understand, yeah.
And then you take that figure and you divide by, and I'll ask by 4 for the week. That's amount. Now, how many days are you prepared to work? 5. So divide that by 5. That's how much you need to earn a day. Now I'll look at the things that you do, and I'll find all the things that you're making money and all the components of your business, right? And I'll say, okay, at your current level, that's not achievable. You can do it in 5 years, right? Or if you can get, so one of the other guys I'm coaching, he said blah, 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 blah. And I'm saying, well, you're focusing on your low product items. Why aren't you focusing on your large ones if you want to achieve that money?
So are you saying then what we tend to do is that we tend to look at quite abstract goal setting, when in fact we should be looking at something that we can, our subconscious mind can actually understand?
You're going through one of the reasons why I've said it. Now, here's the thing. So there are a lot of people I can help make £1 million in a year, right? But I know they're going to lose it all completely, because their mindset is they self-sabotage. Like, take the dot-com boom and bust. You know, all these guys saying you've got to look good to make money. So they're buying their Porsches and their Ferraris with investment. What is that about, right? They self-sabotage. So we know all these dot-com companies that went bust straight away, right? And people have these crazy mindset things that they've I don't know where they got this phrase from. Yeah, you've got to fake it till you make it, I think is the phrase, and that's the biggest bullshit ever, right?
Yes.
Drive your old car because you don't have the money to buy a Ferrari. Stop doing that. Yes. And learn good mindset. Now, once your mindset is in line with your intellect, your heart is in line with and that takes a while. Yes, then you won't self-sabotage your goals. Some people don't believe they can do it. They've been told I've been the author of books, and Nikki kindly, by the way, if you want to know how to raise money on social media, I've raised over 2 million on social media, Facebook. Read that book; it's fantastic. Seriously. So they self-sabotage themselves. They don't believe they could do it. I was told all my life by 3 or 4 English teachers that I could not be a writer. Yet I've made over $1 million in writing, and I've done it. If you Google how can you make money in writing, and by the way, they say you can't, because everyone wants to be a J.K. Rowling. But there's so much money. I've been an editor for so many magazines, Dance Magazine. Learning Technologies magazine, that's education. This is ESM, that's a tech magazine. There's about 50 magazines, websites, and so on. And I've written workbooks which give me royalties. I love passive income, so I don't have to do anything. So technical writing, there's a lot of money in that.
So what fundamentally is the mistake that those people... Because what we're kind of...
They've been told so often by their parents or their teachers that they aren't worth it. They've grown up with a belief that they're not worth it, they can't do it. So even if they start achieving success, their habits for whatever reason, maybe they were bullied, whatever it is, just doesn't mean they can do it.
So then, Ben, the question's got to be then, how do you vocalise that goal? How do you vocalise it? So, because it does sound like there are people out there who will say, I want to be a star. I mean, your goal, for instance, you want to be an A-list celebrity.
Right.
So, if you say, I want to be an A-list celebrity, that is a big quantum leap to be an A-list celebrity.
Right.
But what you've done is, I take it, you've broken it down into manageable chunks.
Correct.
That you can work your way through.
Correct.
So
How am I going to do that?
is that the mistake that most people do with goals? They say, I want to have £1 million company, and that's the goal they set, as opposed to saying, I want to achieve £1 million company, and the way I'm going to do it is with these manageable chunks.
Yes, absolutely. Break it down into small, achievable bits. This is where SMART is fantastic. We mentioned that before. Once you break it down into achievable chunks. So for example, if I follow the Will Smith way of becoming an A-lister, I create my own films. Right? I need to find a scripter. I need to write roles for myself. I want to be next Doctor Who. I don't know whether I can ever do that, but I love that. It's a great British tradition. I want to be Doctor Who. Yes. I love the superhero. I'm a geek. I have over 20,000 comic books in my house.
Wow.
Yes. I want to be a superhero. Yes.
All right. Well,
these are
a man that wants to be Doctor Who, which is an interesting place to be. I'll be interested to see how you break that down. Okay. Let's move it on a bit then. So what we've now got is that we've got a goal that we understand. We can see the chunks that we're doing it. A lot of people sometimes feel, though, that they can only do just one of them at a time.
Correct.
So they start here. Yeah. I'm too busy to do anything else. They can't multitask.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you realistically have a number of high-level goals?
As long as, remember I said to put it into different categories, as long as they're in different categories. So if you've got a financial business goal, this year all I needed to do for 3 months is focus on making $1 million. That's all I had to do. Everything else that people ask me to do, I'm sorry, I don't have the bandwidth. I just need to sort this out because I've got investors, I've got a whole bunch of people that I need to look after. Right.
So how does somebody identify when they're running, I love the expression, when they're running out of bandwidth, when they don't have the capacity to fulfill all the things that they're dreaming for? Right.
I love Emma's on a slide, her Facebook, because she says exactly what I said. You prioritise and that's a Facebook message that I got.
So starting with a shifting mindset when writing down 50 goals. I've always had goals, but I've never stretched my mind to come up and define that many at the same time. When we decided the goals up in categories, it made everything easier. Before I had trouble focusing on the goals because I didn't know where to start and didn't know how to combine working with more than one at a time.
Correct. So now she can do her health goal at the same time as her business goal. This girl is 23. She wants to be a headline speaker. She's already been speaking to now hundreds and hundreds of people, nearly thousands of people on stage, right? She's ambitious. That's the other thing that people fear. They have to want it. They at all costs. They don't care if they don't have any money. They're still going to do it anyway. I am still going to write whether I get paid to it or not. I had a television in security. I did 2 or 3 years of free podcasts, and that television series paid me 100 grand, right, for 2 months' work. And people said, "Oh, it's easy for you." No, I'm sorry. I did my craft.
This is the classic overnight success, but it took 20 years.
Yeah, of course. Well, 5 years, but in fact, that was 2 years. But I'd already been in media, so I was putting out my podcast for 2 years. Somebody picked it up and offered me a contract.
All right, listen, we've got more from Ben Chai in just a few moments' time. An interesting area. So, your goal setting, you've got to make it understandable for yourself. Can you do more than one? Yes, you can. Do you have to divide it down into manageable chunks? Yes, you do. Ben Chai is my guest in today's edition of Business Connections Live, and we've got more from Ben in just a few minutes' time. You're watching Business Connections Live. It's great to have your company. We're live here on a Monday. Ben, really, I could see you getting very animated there.
I know,
you're
I love goals.
absolutely passionate about it.
When people hit those goals better than me, I tell you, because I coach people in tech, so this is just Microsoft stuff, in business and writing, and I get letters where people have done more than I've ever done in that area. I get so excited, I really do.
And it's noticeable as well. You're watching Business Connections Live. Great to have you with us today. Hope you're enjoying today's program. Hope you're finding it inspiring. And it just goes to show you that maybe sometimes what we all do is that we limit ourselves. We don't think outside of the box, or we don't really understand the processes that we need to be going through. Another area that a lot of people have a lot of problem with is when they're standing up and they're talking to a group of individuals, when they're standing on stage, when they're giving presentations. How do you go about giving a confident presentation to somebody? How do you go about making certain that you carry that air of confidence with you when you are presenting? What are the techniques, what are the things that you need to remember? Sally Hindmarsh, she's the managing director of Partner With You, and she came on the program just recently to talk about how to have impact and influence. A fascinating show, in fact. And just to give you a bit of a taste there, don't forget you can see all the shows by simply going to businessconnectionslive.com. Over 200 hours of great business advice there, and unlike other channels, it is all absolutely free. Here's just a little bit of advice from Sally Hindmarsh.
My name's Sally Hindmarsh, and I run a company called Partners With You, and my key takeaways would, when you're presenting, remember that the audience is just like you. So use words and terminology that you and they will understand without a dictionary. Work on your voice beforehand so that your muscles of your mouth, your tongue and your lips are working so that they can hear what you've got to say. Use your eye contact so that they're listening to what you've got to do. And my final tip would be stand up. Stand up or sit up straight so that you look alert and interested.
Do you know, I remember that when we recorded that programme, it was an absolutely fascinating show. What do they say about people who stand up in public? Most people would rather die than give a public presentation. Sally Hindmarsh will explain to you why that shouldn't be the case. Maybe that's another goal that you need to achieve. Maybe go for a soft goal initially before you go for the I'm going to get £1 million in 5 years kind of goal that you want to set. Is that the wrong approach, or should I be saying, right, I'm going to speak well in public, and I'm going to get £1 million?
In fact, you could make a lot more. I was on stage at the National Achievers Congress last week, and a lot of the speakers, blah, 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 they're making 500 grand in one talk.
Gosh.
So
wow, that's something else.
So I think everyone should learn to stand up and speak for their business. It's your business, right? So learn that skill. Fantastic skill.
We'd like you to stand up for our business if you don't mind. You can watch us, of course, on all different platforms, everything from YouTube, Facebook, Roku, Stitcher, Blueberry, and also iTunes as well. I don't know, can we show our little iTunes movie? A little iTunes movie, because what we'd like you to do is to go onto our iTunes, and we'd then like you to give us a 5-star review. Just go in there, view us on iTunes, you'll find the program there, and then that's going to take you to this page, which is actually in your iTunes. It says ratings and reviews. Click on that link there, like this. That'll bring up your customer review, write a review. We'd like you to say things like, Steve Harlan's wonderful. Actually, I find the show really useful. It's helped my business. Give us a 5-star review. That will really, really help us grow Business Connections Live and bring you programs just like this one. You're watching Business Connections Live. My guest today is Ben Chai. We're talking all about goal setting today. Are you setting the appropriate goals for your business? Are you growing your business through goal setting? Let's move on. We've talked about how to unconsciously set our goals so that we've got that kind of a roadmap out there. A lot of people have difficulty when it comes to, they maybe find that the goal they set is too complicated, or maybe they see somebody else has achieved something similar, and they're looking at it and they think to themselves, that's what I want to do. How do I go about setting that goal? Is there a technique that you can do where you can go, right, that's the goal I want to set. How do I find the start point?
So I actually always start with the end point.
All right.
So it will take me 5 years. Remember, we've chunked it down.
Yep.
Right. So I've broken it down into little pieces. So, for example, just talk about, say I want to be an A-lister in films, so I know that I've got to produce my own films. It'll take me this amount of time to find a good script writer. It'll take me this amount of time to blah, 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 blah. And so I start with the end goal. What do I need to do each day, each month to hit that end goal? A day, each month, each year. I need to be doing one thing every day to hit that goal. And reverse engineering, it says, I think we did the breakdown of making 1 million. We worked it out backwards, making 1 million in 1 year. And by reverse engineering, I can tell very quickly whether someone can do it or not. And I'll say, well, look, if you do this and this, you can, but actually you should be doing it in 3 years. Who cares? It's 1 million, right? It doesn't work 1 year or 3 years.
Was there an epiphany moment for you when this all fell into place for you? Was there a moment you thought, I see the process? Because, as I said, there's a lot of people out there that can do the talk, but if you would have actually put them into a room and say, right, do the walk, they probably wouldn't be able to do it. But was there a moment in your life when you saw that's the process and I can actually physically see it?
No. I would love to say there was. It happened with hard work, Steve, with the first businesses that I did. And like many people, like Richard Branson, not that I'm his level or anything, but we had a few failures in our lives, you know. And, you know, my first business doing software, I didn't lose money, but I just made print drivers in the early days of word processors. I didn't know how to do marketing. I didn't know how to do sales. I didn't know how to learn all these different skills. So over time... Do
you think failure is an integral part of being a success?
I love failure. Well, I now teach people how to avoid failure, but I love it because without that failure, I wouldn't be able to see how to reverse engineer my goals today. Those failures have helped me. I was put into a horrible prediction by a close person where I was in over £1 million of debt, right, and stuff. Now, it's my fault because I didn't understand about agreements at the time. And today I write iron cast agreements so nobody can do this to me. But it put me into that problem, and that was a failure on my part. It was the best learning ever because I made more money because of what was done to me than ever before. And I can make money quicker than, because I can see all the processes now, and I can see it in you and anybody else's businesses, how to get to a certain level. And that's by reverse engineering it.
Do you think people sometimes put too much store, they take all the negative out of failure? For instance, in America, a completely different society to the way we are here in the United Kingdom. Here, bankruptcy is seen as, you know, a failure, when in fact bankruptcy is a shield to protect you. But, you know, a multiple bankrupt is someone that perhaps has tried and failed. And in America, if you haven't had a couple of bankruptcies behind you, then you're not going to be a successful business person.
I think today, with the knowledge we have today, if you have the right process and the right people in play, failure should almost be not an option. A bit like brain surgery. Failure on brain surgery, not an option.
No, that's...
But a lot of people, they're in their own way. They haven't sorted out their mindset and they self-sabotage. I can do this. I know it better than Steve. Okay, well, Steve here, he's been in media for, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 decades. And they're starting up.
You're very polite.
Yet they think they know better than you. And they can do it faster and they've never done anything. And they're in their own way. And you're giving them little hints to help out. Okay, that sounds great, but I'm going to do that like that. So today, I think if people have got the right people in, and by the way, you have got people, they may be close friends, they may be family, who will self-sabotage you. I've seen this with some nutritionists and some other people.
What do you mean by that?
They've got... The more successful you become, the more rubbish people start spreading about you. So I've been in a dance group, I've been in media and success. In every single industry where I've started to exceed somebody else's, you know, you get gossip and stuff like that. Now, those people you don't want in... Yeah, I kind of want them in my life, actually. What do they say? Keep your enemies closer, your friends close, and your enemies closer. They don't know I know who they are. But I know what they're saying, and I just think, okay, what is it? I was on stage with Vanilla Ice, and he's made a fortune in property, funnily enough, from real estate. And he says, don't don't cater for the hater. Say later. Yes. So he still has them, but he just exactly just get on with your life. You spend too much time defending yourself. Just go out and do your business.
Is it down to having strategies then? Do you think is it a case that
business is a science? It's a sport, right? All sports you've had coaches. Yeah. Well, do you know us guys in tennis? Andy, the first time he won the Wimbledon, you could see his tears. Right. He changed his coach. Who helped him do something. Business is a sport. It's a great sport because there's so many variables, but it's a science. You just do the right things. It's the same processes all the time.
Now you keep stopping halfway through a sentence. So do the right thing. Is it the right thing at a particular time? Is it, when you're looking at, I mean, as businesses evolve, should you be looking at different strategies as the business evolves? Look at different coaches. Do you modify and change your goals as you're going along?
You're absolutely right, Steve. In the 80s, cold calling was fantastic. It helped a lot. Doesn't work today, right? Well, it might work a little bit, but not as well as it did there. Then we had the whole telesales in the 90s. Today, a lot of it is via social media. It's what 46% of the world have internet access. We think he'll be 2/3 of the population within the next 10 years. And people are doing business because Steve said Ben was great. He's fantastic. I don't know. He's a crazy guy, but you should seek him out. And so people are more educated. They Google. They've done their due diligence these days. Those kinds of selling are very different. We're doing friendship, we're doing testimonials, we're seeing what people think about it.
Can I ask you a question? Because we've gone a little bit off, but that's good. It's good because, I mean, we're talking here. I mean, Nikki Creel's been on the programme a number of times, and, this is her current book, Conversions to Customers, The Essential Guide to Social Media Sales Success. But a lot of people do ask the question, can you truly use social media to be part of your business success?
100%. One of the things I've done with I was mentoring my daughter through property for the last few years, and she's now financially free, so she's going off and doing stuff in Cambodia and working with orphans. She just wanted but we raised a lot of the money through Facebook. Just by putting little posts on Facebook. And, there's a lovely lady called Charlotte who runs Gas Girl and is great. She's great in gas. If anyone needs gas, please, in this area, please phone her up. One of the things I said to her is, in addition to all your friendly stuff that you put on your Facebook, just put one thing about one boiler that you fixed this week. One comment from a customer, just one thing. You don't have to do a big thing, and over time, not tomorrow, not in 3 months, but over time, you'll just see people saying, oh, Charlotte, gas. Go get my gas fixed with Charlotte. Mm-hmm. And it'll be in their head rather than, Charlotte, she's my great friend. Yeah, she's a lovely lady.
So very different. Let's go back. I mean, the goal setting, we've worked our way through the process. You alluded to this earlier on. Do you think we sometimes sabotage ourselves?
Oh, absolutely. Most people get in their own way. They don't want to listen. They don't believe they can do it.
Has that ever happened to you?
Of course. That's how come I talk about it.
Can you give an example?
Well, my biggest one is obviously being an actor is the last bastion, if you like, in my life that I've had fear. Because remember, I said I was told I couldn't write. But also in the early 80s, I wanted to be in property. And I was taught, what a stupid thing to do. And so I don't know why I listened to my parents, because they're not really in property, lovely people, but not in that. Why did I listen to them? But later on I did it, and I had a fear of being in it. The very first time I was offered a property was my next door neighbour, and they offered me this property. They said, the estate agent said it's about 100 grand. We'd like you to have it at 67,000. I said, why? You said, you looked after our grandmother. I used to go around, mow her lawn, go around for cups of tea and stuff like that. We'd like to bless you back. And I said to them, no, I don't think I should do that because my parents tell me property's rubbish.
Do you think?
So I self-sabotage myself.
But
yes?
do you think people do the same thing over and over and over again and never ever learn from those mistakes? Because you learn from yours. So do people sometimes just keep repeating the same thing over and over again and getting it wrong?
But that's why they need coaches. That's why they need good, supportive people. They can either go and hire a coach, they can pay money, or if, you know, my coaches were people on cassettes, you know, Brian Tracy and Wayne Dyer and people like that. And also my grandparents, I used to hang out with lots of old people because people my age thought I was insane, right? because I was not focused on going out and drinking and stuff like that. I was focused on just sorting my life out. And they coached me, they taught me so much stuff that allowed me to think differently. Yes, beyond the confines of what we see that I can do. I'm sorry, one of the things I want to do is help single parents be financially free as well. But they can't because in their thoughts, well, I've got to deliver the kids to school that time and I've got to collect them, so I can't get a proper work.
Listen,
and I think that's rubbish.
Hold that thought for just a moment. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about that in just a few moments. My guest on today's show is Ben Chai. We're talking about goal setting for your life. More to come on Business Connections Live. Lovely to have your company as always on a Monday. We are live. By the way, if you're watching us on Facebook, do please leave a comment. If you are watching us on YouTube, we'd love a comment there too. If you've got us, maybe you're downloaded, but maybe you're listening to us right now on a train somewhere. You've downloaded us on iTunes or Roku or Blueberry or wherever you're watching us. It's good to know that you're with us and you're watching the program. Don't forget, over 200 hours of great business advice, all absolutely free. And I think that's what's really important about this, because what we do is we bring our experts in and, okay, people will say, so what are you getting out of it? I suppose to a certain extent what we're saying is this is our social proof. This is what we do. We talk to people. We talk to people in business. We do corporate production, we do corporate video, we go out, but we also use our skills to allow large multinationals to go out there and to deliver their messages clearly to maybe their workforce or to their customers. And there's no point in us going out there and saying we can do that for you if we can't do it for ourselves. And that's what we do here. And that's what's so exciting. For us, it's very exciting because we get experts like Ben come in each and every week and they talk to us. It's a bit like, you know, we've got a team of over 200 consultants that come in and they will tell us what we should be considering. And do you know what? Isn't that what being in a social community is all about? It's sharing the good news. It's sharing what you can do within, you know, how your life can influence somebody else's. And that's what Business Connections Live is all about. And that's why you'll find a program absolutely free each and every week available. Now, a lot of people come to us and they say, look, I'd love to do what you do, but I don't think I've got the skills. Would you be up to it if a film crew were to turn up and say, tell us about your business? Would you be prepared? If somebody pushed a microphone into your face, would you say the right or would you say the wrong thing to them? Well, we run a course called How to Handle the Media. And James Griffin from Iris Software brought his team on our training course. And here's what James said.
I'm James Griffin from Iris Software, and my team have just completed the How to Handle the Media workshop. It was a really great course, it was really fun, and it was a really unique way for them to polish their presentation skills and learn how to answer difficult questions under pressure. So I'd highly recommend this to anybody that values those skills and really wants a great day out with their team.
Fantastic. If you want more details on that, all you got to do is contact us here at Business Connections Live. You can drop us an email if you wish to studio@businessconnectionslive.com. Just drop us an email to that address. There it is on your screen right now. If you want, you can give us a telephone call. What we do, it's a turnkey course. We customize it to your particular industry. So we take your press releases and you will do a piece of camera, you'll do a TV interview. You'll also do, what else do we do? Oh, radio interview as well. And then a piece by the roadside. It's a fascinating day, great team building day, incidentally. As I said, you can give us a call, 01784 256 777. Don't forget, you can also follow our train of consciousness at BCL Business TV. There it is. You can follow us on Twitter, nearly, I think, 3,500 proper, decent, right, good business followers on that. And you can also watch us, of course, on Facebook as well by simply going to Facebook and then looking out for Business Connections Live. You're watching Business Connections Live. It's great to have you with us on today's program. Hope you're enjoying today's show. My guest on today's show is Ben Chai. We're talking all about goal setting, but it's more than goal setting. It is a state of mind, isn't it? It's getting yourself in the right place. So let's talk a little bit more then about the whole craft of doing this. Is it the craft of understanding how to goal set, or is it the craft of understanding the business that we are setting our goals for?
Both. You need to understand how to set those goals, how to break it down, how to make it achievable. I liked what you said during the kind of like little break just now about adding value and how your business TV is actually giving great information to people without them having to pay in terms of finance. So they obviously pay in time for that, but it will help kickstart their businesses way. And that's the next thing is adding value. If you're just learning your craft, say you want to be a top guitarist, and you can make lots of money as a guitarist, really. Start teaching people for free, but teach them to your level, yes? And over time, you'll learn your craft and gain your... So we set up a media business. We're writing people's books for them and stuff like that, yes? And initially, to get some of our very wealthy customers, we just started doing their blogs for them for free, adding value. They saw what we were like, blah, 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 and we're now the go-to person. So add the value like you're doing and create win-win situations.
Is there a moment, do you feel, though, when you do something like that, I mean, we're very good at taking something for nothing, aren't we? We're all very good at doing that. We will all absorb something for nothing, and that will be our go-to position. But at the point of turning around and saying to them, right, we now actually have to put this on a different footing, we're going to charge you for that service. What kind of dropout rate do you see?
I don't see any. In fact, I see that when we're doing these things for people that they actually... They want to give us money. I'm on stages around the world, right? And I don't have anything to sell. I'm sorry, I'd love to sell them. I don't. And they want to buy books, so they want to buy coaching from me. Or, I've coached a lot of people, but don't all phone me up. I've essentially coached them for free. People have given me shares in their business as a result because it really kick-started them. Just this last year, someone's given me 8% in their business because they spent some time with me. I said to the guy, "Why do you hate yourself?" He just came through my door and he said, "That's very rude." I said, "Okay, it might be very rude, but you wanted to ask me business advice. You don't like yourself." He said, "Why'd you say that?" "Well, I Googled you and had a look at your businesses. You've made over $1 million in each one of them and you lost it all. What's that telling me about you?" Right? And his brother, who was with me, said, actually, he's right. Anyway, 8 months later, that was it. I had 3 hours. They bought me a nice wine and dinner. 8 months later, I get an email and then a letter of equity in their business. They just said, "Thank you." That was the key turning point for us.
So is there a technique, do you feel, that you can use when it comes to learning your craft?
You just have to do it over and over. You have to be with people. You have to be adding value. You want to learn about media. I don't know whether Steve has open opportunities. Well, go and work for him for free. I'm serious. Some of us in England, we get very proud, or our friends sabotage us and said, "Listen, you spent 10 days with him doing all that work and he hasn't paid you any money." Well, stuff that. You've learned a lot about your craft in broadcasting, for example, yes? Mm-hmm. And I would... in one of the tech companies, Lanix UK, that I used to run, now my friend runs it, we had a lot of French interns. They would actually pay for us, for themselves to come and work for us. In fact, the agreement with the French government is that we just pay their travel and accommodation. And they do 6 months with us, and I tell you what, they are fantastic. The danger, of course, is that it might be all very well for people doing that with your organisation and doing it with our organisation as well. We've given them jobs afterwards.
But there are people out there that will exploit that.
Well, good for them. Seriously, good for them. You know why you're doing what you're doing. you know that you're going to learn media, right? So if I don't think you'll exploit anyone,
When I,
but if you did...
I mean, the business owners, there are some people that just use them as cheap labour.
Yeah, of course, yes. I understand exactly what you're saying. But you know why you're there. You know your why. I would seriously go and work for free in film industries. I don't care if they abuse me. I know my why. I know I'm there. I'm networking. I'm creating my contacts. I'm learning my craft, right? And you know, it's no difference than some of the international students paying 20, 30 grand to come in and be educated at our universities. What's the difference?
So does this take us right back to the very beginning of what we were talking about today, in as much as that as long as we're clear on our roadmap,
we need to be clear. Yes,
as
absolutely.
long as we are clear, and
Yeah.
we have those individual signposted places through our journey,
Our milestones, yes.
our milestones, then we can accept that. Okay, for that period of time, we're getting expertise, we're getting experience in this particular area, and that will then take us to the next bit, which will allow us to do this, and so on and so on.
Yeah, just have in place somebody who can either sponsor you, like the French government or whatever. Just make sure that, obviously, I don't want people to work for free and they end up like on the streets. They're sleeping on that. That's a crazy thing to do. So find a way to at least have your living costs sorted out.
I know you do this over a couple of days, and sometimes this whole goal setting thing.
4 days, yes.
Over 4 days, and you said to me before we came on the air today, you said that even when you do the 4-day course, there always seems to be bits that you can't get to because there just isn't the time to get to it, because it's such a big thing. But
it's individual attention.
When you look back at the audiences that you have there, is it difficult to get the audiences into the appropriate mindset so that they can start thinking about clarity in goal setting? Is it difficult to get them there, and is there a technique to get you in the right mental state to goal set properly?
There probably is, and I probably should go on more Tony Robbins things to break people's states. People, when they attend the workshops, and these are, again, I've run around the world, I tend to do them on behalf of other people, so I'm not paid directly by anybody. They want to be there. Right, so they're already in the correct mindset. They really want to. There's something that they need to achieve. There's something they're passionate about. If they're not passionate about, I'm saying this is not a good thing for you to be on. Yes, it's why a lot of people who do smart employees, they never hit their goals because they're not passionate about it. It's what my business owner wants to do. I'm not interested in it. So why should I follow these processes to achieve these goals? I could help them. I can educate them how to do it and why it's important for them to do it, because it'll promote them and promote their company if they can get equity in the business. Blah 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 blah. But if there's not enough why in here, yes, you love your business, right, Steve? You would do this even if you could, if nobody paid you to do it, right? That is the why. That is like, I don't care. I would be on stage talking if nobody paid me.
Well, listen, no one's paying me today. No, listen, let's move smartly on, shall we? It's been an absolutely fascinating insight into, I think the whole state of mind thing is the thing that actually I find really incredibly interesting. And then once you're in the right place to actually the goal setting and setting out that strategy to move forward with your goals. What we invite all our guests to do at the end of each and every programme is to look straight down our camera number 1 and to give us the key takeaways that we need to be remembering from today's discussion.
Sure.
What are the key things we should be remembering when it comes to setting our goals? Say who you are, where you're from.
Yes. Straight
Straight down camera number 1.
Yes.
The airwaves.
Would you have it on my slide, my last slide?
Oh, you want it on the last
slide? It summarises everything, which is fantastic. Oh, well, back there you go.
There
that
you go.
One.
Would you like that on the screen as well?
That would be fantastic.
We'll pop that slide up on the screen. But do start by saying who you are and where you're from.
So my name is Ben Chai. I was born in Hackney, and I now live in Windsor. Don't stalk me. That's a joke. I've run a lot of businesses that have sold and in different industries, in security, in tech, in education, training, and property. The things that I would like people to remember most is, one, create a bucket list of everything you want to do. Choose the top one. If you haven't read all my articles on how to divide them, just choose one in that list, the one that you really want to achieve. Then break it down, chunk it down into little achievable components. Yes, that will create help you create a specific time scale for you. Do one thing a day, every day, in your list of things in your life that helps you move closer to your goal, and then have a great support team. Sideline anybody who doesn't support you, and just embrace all the people who just want, every time you do a success, they're saying, yes, great, let's go celebrate, let's go to the pub, let's have a cup of coffee, let's have a piece of cake, whatever. Have them in your life, because they are the team that you will bounce off when you're, and I promise you, this is a sport and you'll have down times and you'll be feeling terrible. Those guys will support you and help you move on. Have some kind of education, coaching, whatever person in your life to keep you on track. The biggest thing that people need is accountability. So you have someone who'll phone you up. Have you done your goals for the week? Yes. So those are the main steps. Please come to 5 years to financialfreedom.com, because I've written about all of that stuff in great detail, and it's all there freely available for you.
Listen, that's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. It's been a fascinating show. Hope you've enjoyed it and enjoyed what you've heard and what you've seen today as well, for that matter. Hang on a second, we're just going to turn that down. Oh, it's good. Enough. There we go. But listen, we do hope you've enjoyed today's programme and you found it absolutely fascinating. A great show. We'd like to thank Ben Chai as well for all his help and also his advice on this particular programme. But do think for yourself for a moment, if you are standing back and you are setting goals, are you starting in the right place? As you set those goals, are the goals going to be right? Can you chunk them down? Can you see your roadmap? Make absolutely certain that you can, and grow that business and be successful. Can I just thank Ben once again for coming in on the programme. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with us today. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Steve. It's been absolutely my pleasure too.
And I hope you enjoyed today's edition of Business Connections Live. Right, just before we go, I just love it when my laptop starts talking to me. Just before we go, let's just do a little bit of housekeeping, shall we, before we walk out the door and see who's coming up on future editions of the programme. Next week's guest, we've got Alison Hale. She's from Oxford Professional Consulting. She's got a cracking show lined up for you. Future programmes, Jim McLaughlin, Managing Director of Axial. He'll be with us. Nikki Creel, author of Converting Conversions to Customers. Antonio Falco, Penny Power, founder, CEO of the Business Cafe, Mark Well from Motorsports, Sylvia Baldock, Deborah Hume, Ali Crump. There's a whole host of people coming up over the next couple of months to be here on the programme to give you free business advice each and every week. Don't forget, if you'd like to sponsor the programme, we'd love to hear from you. And it must be time to roll those end credits and get the heck out of here. Listen, thank you very much indeed for your time and your company. We're going to be live again next Monday at midday. Until we do it all again next week, take it easy, have a fantastic week, and don't forget, set those goals. Bye for now. Bye-bye.